You can lower your A1C in weeks, not months. And here's the twist that most of us never hear. Your A1C can read high even when your actual blood sugar is fine. Is your energy crashing in the afternoon? Are you puffy and foggy with labs that keep coming back normal? Is the scale climbing for no reason? As a nurse living with autoimmune disease, I'll show you three fresh ways to lower your A1C fast, the lever that works while you sleep, and the thyroid twist that could be inflating your number. Because too many of us get told we're fine and sent home still stuck. So, first, let's talk about what your A1C actually is. It's a 3 month average of your blood sugar, not a single day or even a week. And that's good news. It means the changes you make this week start stacking up right away. But most of the advice you've heard is about what's on your plate. Eat more greens, cut the sugar. And that's not wrong at all. It's just the same list you've heard for years. And if it were enough, your number would have moved by now. Some of the biggest levers for your blood sugar have nothing to do with adding one more vegetable. They're about when you eat, how you sleep, a mineral you're probably low on, and one gland almost nobody connects to this number. And I'll save that last one for the end because it might change how you read your next lab. So let's start with timing because this one you can use tonight. Your body handles the same meal differently depending on the clock. In the morning, your cells are wide open to insulin. By evening, that door is harder to push. Feed someone the identical dinner late at night instead of earlier, and the late meal spikes blood sugar higher every time. In one study, eating dinner after 8 p.m. was tied to a higher A1C on its own, with no change in the food. So, a plate that looks healthy can still work against you if it's landing at 8 at night. I know that trap well. For years, I worked long shifts. My kids had activities in the evening, and I ate my real dinner close to bedtime. And then I wondered why I felt so awful the next morning. The fix isn't a diet, it's closing your kitchen a few hours before bed. The same food, just an earlier clock. That alone can start nudging your numbers down in a couple of weeks. And the next lever works even while you're doing nothing at all, while you're asleep. Now, this one almost nobody tells you. You can eat perfectly and still watch your blood sugar climb if you're not sleeping. Just one short night of 4 hours instead of eight has been shown to drop your insulin sensitivity by about a quarter the very next day. One night, and your cells stop listening to insulin the way that they should. And this is where it gets personal for a lot of us over 50. Perimenopause and menopause tear up the deep sleep that does the overnight cleanup on your blood sugar. If you're lying there wired but tired, your brain is buzzing and frustrated, that's a nervous system stuck in high gear, quietly keeping your sugar up. I've lived in that wired but tired place myself. Protecting your sleep isn't a luxury, it's blood sugar medicine. A cooler, darker room and winding down instead of scrolling online will do more for your A1C than most people believe. If your sleep and stress feel tangled up in all of this, that's exactly what I walk through in my free insulin resistance guide. All the root cause pieces in plain, no overwhelm steps. The link's in the description below if you'd like to take a look, and it's free to you. Okay, the third lever is a mineral. And if you're over 50, there's a good chance you're running low without knowing it. It's magnesium. Think of it like the spark plug that insulin needs to do its job. Insulin can knock on the cell all that it wants, but without enough magnesium, the door doesn't open smoothly. And here's the sneaky part. The things that come with those of us our age quietly drain it. Stress burns through it. Your morning coffee flushes it out. Even some common heartburn and blood pressure medications lower it. So you can be eating well and still come up short. Your body whispers before it screams. The whispers here look like muscle cramps, restless legs at night, twitchy eyelids, and poor sleep. Sound familiar after everything we just said? It's all connected. You can get magnesium from food first: pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, black beans, even a little dark chocolate without the sugar. Some women do better adding a gentle form like magnesium glycate in the evening. But check with your own provider first, especially if you had kidney concerns or you're on other medication. Now, here's the one I promised you at the start. This is the piece most of us, and honestly, a lot of doctors completely miss. And for those of us with thyroid issues, it changes everything. Your thyroid can move your A1C, and it does it in two ways. First, when your thyroid runs low, your whole body handles insulin worse. So your blood sugar genuinely drifts upwards. But this is the twist I teased at the start. A sluggish thyroid also slows down how fast you make and clear your red blood cells. And your A1C is measured in those red blood cells. When they hang around longer than they should, they keep collecting sugar the whole time. So your A1C reads higher than your actual real day to day blood sugar actually is. Studies have caught this. Treat the low thyroid, and the A1C comes down without the person's actual sugar changing at all. Some people have even been labeled pre diabetic purely because of an untreated thyroid. This one I know in my bones. For years, I had every low thyroid symptom in the book: losing the hair on my eyebrows and both of my arms. I was cold all the time, foggy, exhausted. And I kept getting told my labs were within normal limits. Nobody looked underneath the normal and connected all the separate dots. I finally found a provider who ran the right test. And later, after COVID, it tipped me into full Hashimoto's. My specialist has told me that it wouldn't have gotten that bad if somebody had listened and treated my hypothyroidism earlier. I don't want any of you going through this and waiting so long to get answers like I did. So, if your A1C is creeping up and your thyroid has never really been looked at, or you're on thyroid medication but still don't feel right, that's a conversation worth having with your provider. Ask about your thyroid before you accept a scary label and get curious. See how all of these fit together. When you eat, how you sleep, your magnesium and your thyroid aren't four separate problems. They're one system running under a burden that nobody helped you name. You don't fix that with one more salad. You lift the burdens one at a time, and the number follows. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these surprised you most? The timing, the sleep, the magnesium, or the thyroid piece? I read everyone and they really help me to know what to make next for you. And if this video helped you connect the dots, give it a like and subscribe so it reaches another woman who's staring at a number nobody has explained to her. And please share it with someone you love who's been told she's fine, but knows something is off. And that free insulin resistance guide is waiting for you in the description below whenever you're ready. Remember, your body isn't broken, it's burdened. And when you understand those burdens, you can finally begin supporting your body in the way it's needed all along. Please take care of yourself because you deserve to feel better. And remember, we're all in this together. I'll see you in the next one.